Hello, and thanks for joining me again for a... What the hell was that word? Foo? Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening to the No Stress podcast. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, eventually, we'll cut the mistakes out like that and we'll make some bunts from it, because that's what we're really all here for. Today's episode is with Sadie Hasler, who is an award-winning columnist, playwright and actor. Let me just say that again. She's won awards for her art. And it happens to be her job. So, if you ain't won an award for what you do, maybe you have to take a leaf out of Sadie's book, eh? And get involved in the awards. Because that's why we do stuff, for awards and recognition, and to get paid a fucking mint for it. No, she would not agree with that. In this episode, we talk about creativity, writing, directing, all sorts. Just being positive, having a good life. Talk about her kid, who, she had to get home to. That's why it cut short. So I'm a bit pissed off about that. No, baby's more important. I've always said that. She's written things such as Pram Kicker, Fran and Lenny, which are recognised as being fucking brilliant, by the way. And if you are a feminist, and if you're not, get on board, because the apocalypse is coming. Deborah Frances White, the presenter of the Guilty Feminist podcast, which is a proper movement, by the way, a proper thing. That woman said that Sadie's a voice of a generation, and that's not any old knobhead saying that. That's Deborah Frances White saying it, and she's to be trusted, seriously. Also, a whole host of other proper people say how good Sadie is. So anyway, let's get on with the podcast, I suppose. Welcome to No Stress Podcast with me. Dave Williams is me. It's a podcast where I meet up and chat with people, which is actually every podcast, really. Can't actually think of a podcast where that isn't it. Maybe there's a gap in the market. A podcast where you don't talk. We're going to chat to and get to know all types of people. We're going to speak about life, positivity, politics, philosophy, football, food, music, creativity, everything and anything. And we're going to have a laugh along the way. No stress. Enjoy. Welcome to the No Stress podcast, Sadie. How are you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm doing very good. Feeling very no stressed.
Good. Well, I've got the incense on.
It's a good incense. It's a good quality incense, by the way. And I know my incense.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you do. And where do you get yours from? What shop?
I do always like to go to Africa if I can, to support, go and shop local.
Yeah.
Because I've been there for years. But anyway, that doesn't have Nag Champa.
When you say Africa, do you mean the country?
No.
All right.
I thought cute little shop.
Right, okay. Because I thought you're going to Africa to get sort of incense. That'd be amazing.
I wish I could just go on jaunts like that for my incense, but no, life doesn't accommodate that.
Not yet. Anyway.
Not yet.
Things are going well, but they're not that good yet.
They're not that good, no. Can't know.
I was thinking about incense earlier, actually, where you could have, like a subscription box where people pay monthly to get something in the post. Incense one.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe I don't put that in. I could
you should definitely do that.
Yeah, I think people would buy that.
Yeah, and you could really mark it up and kind of cream it off dickheads as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like people that live in Fulham.
Yeah.
I don't know, some people in Fulham are all fine.
Yeah.
But there are some dickheads there, I suppose.
I would imagine there's quite a few.
There's a few all over the place. I mean, I'm not sure about Fairfax Drive. I'm not sure if many people would be buying incense. How much could I sell it for?
Well, you can pay, depending on the shop and how much they want to rip you off, you can pay up to $2.50.
For that?
Yeah. But you can buy them online for about 99p.
Yeah.
So I reckon you could get Nag Champa and one of their many types of incense.
Yeah.
And maybe I reckon £3.
Yeah.
$2.50.
Yeah, but maybe you get like a calendar in it telling you when to use it, because then you can really get people using them.
And you could tell them what the scent contains, what essences it's got in it.
You could.
And say, this is good for, serenity after a stressful day.
It would be. There's many dickheads that are buying to that.
Oh.
Me being one of them.
Mate, countless dickheads.
Yeah. To give you a tip, by the way, I can't remember if you live around here, but there's a shop up there on the corner.
Yeah.
And they sell them for 99p.
Is this the original Nag Champa in the blue box?
Yes, it is.
The classic?
Yeah, it is the classic. They got the black one as well. I thought when you said, is this the original Nag Champa, like he was like a man.
No. I don't know, but like the main brand.
Okay, because I thought, no, that guy does not work at the corner. I imagine he's doing all right. And he'd be doing even better when I kick this idea off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the podcast's sponsored by.
Oh.
Could think of a name, say, sponsored by, and then release it and people can start buying it.
I think you're on to a winner though, the subscription thing.
Yeah.
And then you could branch out into wanky candles.
Yeah. And I love them as well. So I'd be my main customer, which is nice. So anyway.
There we go. I'm glad we've sorted that.
Yeah, covered incense. But it's nice because that happens a lot. So podcast number 2, I think with Reese, we spoke about crisps for the first bit. So it's always nice to sort of change it up into something sort of spiritual, isn't it? Crisps can be spiritual.
Can be deeply spiritual.
Yeah, Dorito.
Yeah.
Or an onion ring, because they sort of look like the thing with the hand. You know, I showed my hand to the mic. I've only been doing this for like ages. You can't see what I'm doing into the mic with my fingers. Anyway, yeah, so we've discovered that you're doing all right. You've had a good day. You've had a massage. You relaxed.
Yeah.
And now we've got to figure out the meaning of life. That's why we're here. That's not exactly why, but we're here for that reason. I mean, if you find out, let me know.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
If it comes to
I don't think it will be today, but I will get back to you.
Yeah, just let me know. Send me, maybe in the next week if it pops up, I'll just put it in the edit. She texts me and it's this.
I've done it. It's come to me. Yeah, okay.
So, you can see my bit of paper with all the bits on.
When you sent me the picture of that earlier, I was quite intimidated.
Yeah, don't
because I thought I've not done any sort of prep for this other than a massage.
Yeah, right. Which is a nice prep. It's sort of like was it like a sports massage, like a?
It's just an
like a writer's massage or something, or like a creative.
Yeah, call it that. No, I think what it actually was you gave birth nearly a year ago and have not once done anything to.
Nice.
Make yourself feel nice afterwards.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, babies, they take up time, don't they?
They take up a bit of
I've
time.
got a few downstairs and I just can't be bothered with them.
Got to put a bit of effort in.
Yeah, I just, I'll pop in sometimes, see how they're doing. Yeah, so she's a year old?
She is nearly 1 year old.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's gone so quick, it's ridiculous.
What's she like?
She's cool.
Yeah?
She's very chilled. I reckon she'd probably, if she could talk, she would tell you the meaning of life.
Probably.
And she'd be right.
Do you reckon, baby, that's why they're so crying all the time, frustrated that they can't speak and about the meaning of life? That's probably the reason they're stressed out.
Yeah.
They've got so much to say.
Existential crises going on.
Dread.
Yeah.
Complete dread.
And dread about the rest of their lives. They're like,
oh no, I'm going to forget this. Yeah, so this podcast is about creativity and life and positivity, trying to live a non-stressful life, which is impossible because life can be awful. Not awful, but it can be.
Yeah, it can.
And all sorts of subjects are spoke on this. Mm-hmm. So we've done food, and we'll do food again. We've done food a bit earlier with the H.
Love food.
Yeah, well, there's
that
is some people's food, but yeah. So, you're a writer.
I am.
Tell us more about that. When did you first write? No, don't answer that. That's stupid. But because I guess you were.
Someone
8.
made me sit down with a pencil.
No, I hope you're older than 8 writing. How old are you when you start to sort of write?
I don't know. I remember. Well, so I must have been about 4 or 5. Because it was when I lived in Leicester, and I remember my little cousin who is 1 year and 2 days older than me, and she was my idol growing up. And so not my little cousin, but we were little at the time.
Yeah.
And she had just learnt to read, and I was heartbroken because I thought I would never, ever, ever be able to do it.
No way.
And I remember my mum promising me that one day it would happen.
Yeah. Oh God.
She was like, "It's all right, Sadie, you will be able to read."
So you were what, 4 or 5?
I must have been, yeah, because we lived in Leicester, so I lived there from between the age of 3 and 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Southend.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Leicester? I don't know it, but where?
In a place called Evington.
All right. Evington.
Yeah.
What was it like? Picturesque?
We lived in a nice bit,
Yeah?
Yeah, it was good.
Why did you move here?
Because my mum and dad split up,
Right.
which was a good decision
Okay.
on my mother's part. And she's from Billericay, so she was like, right, where the fuck do you move to when you've got 2 kids and you've just split up with someone?
The promised land.
Yeah, so she just thought, let's move somewhere that feels familiar. And she had a friend living in Shoebury.
All right.
So she came down and looked around and just picked Southend.
Wicked.
Yeah.
And then you've been here for how many years?
Yeah, so,
Many years.
Many years. Well, yeah, what am I, 38, so 32 years.
I've lived here all my life as well.
Yeah.
Born in Rochford. Most people are.
Yeah.
Here,
Trad.
which is weird.
Rochford Hospital.
Yeah, I just think, why not more people born not in Rochford that live here?
Well, the hospital's not there now, is it? So I guess that's
It'd be weird if
a
people were
thing
being...
of the past.
Yeah, if people were being born in Rochford now, without there being anywhere for people to give birth, that would be mental, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If all mothers in labour just decided, I better hop in a cab.
Yeah, to Rochford.
Head to Rochford.
Keep the tradition going. So, you've written literally forever. You've done that for as long as you can remember, pretty much.
I've always loved writing, yeah. In fact, actually, I've just moved recently and I found the first play I ever wrote.
Wow.
When someone gave us a computer, and I must have been about maybe 13. And
Right.
It's got a really depressing title.
What is it?
It's called When Children Cry.
Oh my God.
And I found it and I was like, oh my God. But I remember the absolute joy of having this computer sat there, which was one of those massive, bulky white things that went on for like the whole length of a table.
The whole room.
And and I remember being in the lounge on my own for a good portion of the day just writing this play.
Right, and what was it about? Was it literally about when children cry?
It was about a group. Do you know what my inspiration was?
What?
As a kid, I loved the film It, and I really loved the scenes with the adults where they were kind of reminiscing about their childhood. And I think I must have nicked it from that, but minus the scary bits.
Okay.
And it was just all about grown-ups looking back at their past and an accident that shaped them.
Wow, that's quite profound, isn't it?
And kind of still affected them.
And what's it like? Did you read it back?
I read bits. I couldn't read the whole thing.
I
had a day to get on with, you know.
Well, that's true. You got a massage to get on with.
Got a massage, got a baby.
There's plenty of things to be getting on with. I remember. Well, there's a book in there somewhere. I could go and get it, but I'm not going to, because if I go in that room, I'm never coming out.
I'm quite intrigued by that door, actually.
You can look in there, but I just wouldn't, because that's where I keep the masseuse.
Is it a room or a cupboard in there?
It's a cupboard. Yeah.
Is it like in Monica's flat?
There's a lot
Friends?
of shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you open it, it will take a long time for us to get it all back in there. But basically, I was obsessed with inventions when I was a little kid. I've never invented anything, by the way. It's not a
Life's
avenue
not
I've
over
pursued.
yet, babe.
That's true. I've got a chance. I could do.
Babe.
Well, I've done the incense thing. See, that just proves it.
That's just the start of your brain kicking in.
Exactly. That was just something that just popped in. Do you know what I mean? But I might, when we have a break, I'll get it and we'll come back to it, because I'll make another coffee and I'll go find it and then I can read from it. And it's all about me writing about inventions or how things work when I was in year 4, I think, or maybe year 3, and it's
That's lovely.
hilarious. It's heartbreaking, really, because it's like a dream that never happened. An inventor.
So was it you, like, just kind of recounting what you'd read in books about inventions?
No.
Is it your own inventions?
It was my own inventions of how to capture mice. I've later found out there's mouse traps. like ones that are cheap that you can just. So my one was like extravagant, like you let the water go down the bridge and it will run into some dominoes which all flick round, and then it releases a net that goes out and captures all the mice, and that's how it's supposed to work. That was my catchphrase, I would say, and that's how it's supposed to work at the end.
And that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
It's giving yourself a little safe out there just
Exactly.
in case it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Well, it's clever. It's clever.
It's very nifty.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's nifty.
Was it like in Back to the Future? Doc's kind of weird contraptions that did basic tasks.
Yes, it's sort of exactly like that.
Great.
But I wouldn't have seen that at that time, I don't think.
Okay, so you are a true original.
I'm a visionary.
Visionary.
Yeah. And that's just and that's how it's supposed to work. Maybe that's what the podcast should be called. So you were a teacher, I know that because you've told me before. So
yes, yeah.
Where did you teach and what did you teach? And
taught...
did you like it and would you do it again?
Okay, so I did a writing degree and then I got a job in marketing straight after, and then while I was in marketing my old drama teacher told me that she was retiring, and I jokingly said, "Can I have your job?" And she literally came back to me about a week later and said, "Were you joking?" I said, "Well, I was, but hang on, what are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, we can train you on the job."
No way.
So I went in for an interview with my old headmistress, which was pretty trippy, and
weird,
and got this job because they just started doing a thing called graduate teacher program or something.
Oh.
So I started teaching, but I only taught for a couple of years because it was a head fuck. And I was teaching for like a month, and then my dad died, and I think that was it for me.
That was it. Not
I
going
was
back to
just
that.
literally in a complete and utter spiral,
Yeah,
and then
right.
I just stopped teaching a couple of years later.
Yeah, so you would never go back to it, or would you do another form of it?
I don't think I would.
Did you enjoy any of it?
I loved the kids. I did love the kids, and I miss that aspect of it. I just cannot be bothered with the grind of everything else behind it, the kind of admin and everything.
But I suppose you can do that now, like by directing plays and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd much rather work with young
Yeah.
people in other ways.
Yeah,
I've thought about that recently, actually, about doing some more workshops and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which I would love to do. But yeah,
I think there must be demand for that. Sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of kids out there that want to devise their own work. So I think that would be a way forward, because so people feel like they can get up and create their own stuff now, which I think before there was always this pressure of, got to do a play written by someone else, and it was all very kind of staid almost,
and also hard to get things out.
Yeah,
but now it's so easy.
Yeah, and I think people have more of a feel they have a right to create their own stuff, and that there is a platform there waiting for them.
People feel like they've got things to say, and there's a big chance now of putting something out.
Yeah,
and it doing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's another thing to do. Add to the list.
Yeah, add that. Stick that on the list, on the never-ending list. After, if you stop fucking about getting massages, you might find the time.
Oh, maybe if I gave up my H addiction.
Well, if you gave that up, could be inspiring though. You could think of some serious mental stuff there.
Yeah.
So, I listen to The Guilty Feminist.
Yeah.
A lot. Are you on that?
I have done one, and
It's not out yet, is it?
I believe it's out. If not this week, very soon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because me and Ella was in the car driving somewhere listening to it, and she mentioned your play, and we was like, "Oh!"
Oh yeah, she plugged it.
She
I was doing a tiny little run in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice of her. Wasn't it?
Yeah, she said these are the words that she said: "A voice of a generation."
Yeah.
And then she said, what my favourite thing that I read on your website before you come here, twisted genius.
Yeah.
And I thought, is that necessarily good? I just thought, because
I've got I'm in two minds about that quote. That was GQ, that one.
Yeah.
And that was about a silly character I used to do in my one-woman show.
Yeah.
But when you've got to make a poster, you kind of need quotes.
I think If it was me, I'd put it at the top. But I just think, is that necessarily a good thing? Because sort of twisted geniuses, I think of people like Hitler. And so
I've got such a loud laugh. Can I just apologise? If it pops out into the mic and I forget to turn my head, I do apologise.
I think that's good. So yeah,
okay.
That's the kind of thing I'm thinking when I think twisted genius.
Yeah. I mean, now that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just take it off stuff.
No, don't. It's really good. I think it's a compliment. If someone said that about me, I'd be like, well, I've done something good then. That was mental. What was that for then? What was the character?
Was for, do you know what? I think it was this Essex girl character I used to do.
Yeah.
I just being myself. I did a one-woman show where I did lots of famous women from history who were dead, but I kind of tweaked them so that they were nothing like they would have been.
Completely mad.
So Sylvia Plath was constantly writing letters to Ted Hughes in the next room and just always wanting to go bowling. So she was a bit of like a valley girl type twit. And Catherine Hepburn was slutty and outrageous, and Myra Hindley was she was running a prison haiku club.
That sounds fun.
It was very silly, and she just spoke like the most chilled out woman in between doing yoga. And you know what? I was always waiting for the time when I would get absolutely pelted for doing that character, and it never happened. Never. And I even did it at the Comedy Store in Manchester, and it went down really well. And I was like, if I can get away with it in Manchester,
you should be golden.
I'm all right.
Are those characters gone?
Yeah, I haven't done it for a while, yeah.
Maybe we should bring them back to life.
Yeah, kind of every now and then I have a little urge to maybe revisit them.
5-minute audio short bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Of them all.
Yeah, I never did record them actually, and I always wanted to. So
I reckon that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Twisted genius. So they were just like normal, obviously not twisted people, but you made them turn them into nutcases, basically.
Yeah,
with some like really strange.
I kind of had fun with that. The idea of I was thinking about famous people and what we know of them and what we could never know about them, and what made them who they are, and what would persist in history about them. And obviously it all depends on who's writing the stories. And I thought it was quite interesting just to completely bastardise their biographies and just have a bit of a giggle.
How did you come up with that idea? It's funny, I always think ideas of like trying to come up with stuff, they just pop into your head.
I can't really remember. I remember around the time I was kind of bringing all my solo stuff together to do a solo show, like 1 hour show for Edinburgh, and I didn't want it to feel like not trivial, because obviously it's comedy, so that it is trivial essentially.
Yeah, right.
But
not too offensive.
Yeah, I wanted to give it kind of like an overarching theme that kind of sewed all these characters together. So there was this weird character I did who was quite surreal, and I turned her into Marie Curie to kind of give her a thing, and then I can't remember which one I wrote first. Maybe the Sylvia Plath letters actually that I was doing, and I just went from there. And then my friend Tim Vine gave me a title called Lady Bones, which is what the show was called, and I went from there.
That's
just
mad.
The idea of
I do think
dead women.
Yeah, well, that's nice. It's a nice thought.
Yeah,
I suppose.
But I do think that's fascinating that we think we know all these legends, and actually
you don't know anything about them, really.
We really don't. They're just such a curated presence in the history books, aren't they?
Yeah, right. Just a manifestation, like just made up by other people, apart from that didn't know them. Or yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah. So that was part of the one woman show that you did.
Yeah.
And you travelled around and did all that stuff. So what was that? Was that early after you stopped teaching, or was that during, or how did it all happen?
That kind of came about because I gave up teaching, had a monumental breakdown, and just never went back to teaching. And it was all kind of dad related and grief related, because Dad was bipolar and he took his own life, and it was
Right.
just processing it was just mental.
Yeah.
And when I was not working, I wasn't going in to teach. I was off sick, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was going to go back at that point. A friend asked me to stage manage a show she was doing at the Palace, and I thought it'd be good to do something that was kind of like a different environment.
Yeah, right, to take you out of that environment.
Yeah. And I started doing that, and then I also got together with someone who I knew from uni, who'd just got into comedy, and he started making me write with him and perform with him, which I had no real ambition to do at all, really, but it was something to do, and I think it was a direct kind of protest at grief almost. Right. I think it was like, yeah, I'm still alive and I've got to fucking throw myself back in the ring.
Yeah, right. So creativity sort of saved you a bit, got you back on the track.
Yeah, and it was in a way that I never would have chosen, because I was always really into theatre. I was always really into, plays and poetry and comedy. I'd never been to a comedy gig in my life.
Wow.
So that was never anything it was just not on my radar. Although having said that, I grew up loving Victoria Wood and French and Saunders, so that was in there. But yeah, and it probably, in a wanky way, did save my brain.
Yeah, just got you thinking and creating stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. What is your favourite bit about? Is it performing, or is it or writing, or is it both? Or you don't know, you can't decide.
I don't know. I never really can make my mind up. I don't think I will ever go through life not writing something, whereas I think I could give up the performing, and probably not feel like there's something that's like a key part of me that I'm missing out on.
Burning desire. I guess there is to an extent, but like if it got taken away, if you had to choose between the two, what would you choose? Writing.
Yeah, writing is much more in my blood, definitely. Yeah. And that's how my brain processes things. It's always thinking about how I could write it.
Where does it come from? What did you like inspired by a family? You said,
no, I don't know. I mean, my dad. I always thought my dad was a beautiful writer. Right. He wrote letters, but that's all he wrote. And I loved his. He had a beautiful way with English, and reading his letters back, I do think, wow, that was your inspiration then? Yeah, I think, but in terms of creative writing and stuff like that, I don't really know just where that came from.
Sort of fell into it, I guess.
Yeah, I remember doing sketches to the class in like the last year of junior school because I loved Victoria Wood. But again, I never had any kind of ambition for that to be the thing that I did, to do comedy or anything.
Did you show off at school? Did you have like the look at me gene that everyone talks about?
No, it wasn't a look at me gene. I think I was quite quiet. I was always really shy because I always went to youth theatres and stuff growing up, but I didn't ever kind of go ta-da. Yeah. I was always the quiet one that wished they had the bigger part, or I didn't get the confidence, and even through senior school I never really hit my stride, I don't think.
Yeah, right.
And then I was going to go to drama school, and I realised that I didn't have the fire in my gut for performing, and that's when I chose to do a writing degree instead.
All right. What do you feel? So you feel more? Do you feel? What feels more free, just creating something than being restricted to the lines you've already written or what somebody else has already written? Or
no, it's weird because I love other people's words, and I used to kind of every free period or lunchtime or whatever, I'd always go in the school library and read plays, and I just wanted to just absorb it all, and it was the words that I loved, and I was never particularly fantasizing about being in them. It was the learning how to write dialogue that excited me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there was with every person that makes anything or writes anything, that they would obviously be really insecure, usually, unless they're completely mental, which those people don't exist. So have you got massive insecurity about writing, or not anymore, or you just feel totally free and don't care about it anymore?
It's a weird mixture, actually.
Is it a struggle?
So the writing, I don't find. Obviously you go the whole way through you're thinking, God, this is just utter, dross, and what am I doing? And it's going to be dreadful. And then that fear of the response when you kind of show someone or read it to someone or whatever. But no, I think because I've learned, I think comedy was really good for this actually, is it was such an instant, it's almost like publishing your work on stage live and getting the review instantly.
Yeah, right.
So if you're getting the laughs and the lines you wrote are hitting the way they should, the way you designed them, or if they're not, and then you've got to go away and edit it and stuff.
Both good.
And I think that was such good grounding because I was on stage with those words, hundreds of hours all over the place, different stages. I feel like it kind of gave me a bit of armour in a way.
Were you playing a character the whole time?
Yeah, I've never been myself on stage other than hosting bits or silly bits.
Is that because you're worried about doing like a straight stand-up of being yourself or being like an exaggerated version?
I've got no interest in being myself
yourself
on stage.
No, right.
Absolutely. I feel like I've got nothing to say as myself, which is weird because I've
got so much
written columns and that is being myself.
Yeah, but that's different though, isn't it? That's like the columns are more serious though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Usually.
No interest, and I feel like no one would have any interest. I'm like, what am I doing here? No, I don't. Yeah. I don't get that.
I think I would like to do some stand up, but I think the way I would start doing it is by being a character, because I wouldn't be confident enough. I think it's mad when people can do that. I think that's like a serious. You gotta be. I think you're a bit insane.
I've spent quite a bit of time with quite a few comedians, and I would say there's probably something
not right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly wouldn't marry one again. But yeah. Yeah.
I just think that is like a seriously. I don't even think it's brave, because I think it's like I used to think it as brave, but then I realised that it's just like they need to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It is a very particular thing. However, you can't all put, obviously,
no, of course not.
As with anything, you can't put them all in the same box and say they've all got the same.
No. I was being a bit facetious there for sure. Yeah.
No, but I kind of do. I certainly know quite a few comedians where you're just like, mate.
Yeah, you've got.
And you can't imagine them doing anything else because they just have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like in their head.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I probably could do it. We'll see. I'd like to try.
You should try.
Yeah, I will try.
I think it is a great thing for confidence and for writing if that's what you want to do. And yeah.
I just like to try things.
Different
basically.
things. That's brilliant. Yeah.
And I probably will give it a go, but I think it'd be like it would have to be a character of some sort that I've come up with.
Do you have anything that you know, like in your kind of backpack of skills, or like, is there anything that constantly makes your mates laugh? Is there a voice?
I think it's usually like if there's the conversation goes a certain way, and then I can chip in with like a comment that makes people laugh. But that's like impossible. Every comedian always says like the place you want to get to is being as funny as you can be in front of your mates, which is like almost not impossible, but you can obviously get to it. But my notes section on my phone is like another level of like stupid. But then that's not a character stuff. That's just like observational. Like,
and what is
seeing
it?
Things.
How, when you jot them down, what purpose is that serving in you? Do you feel like it may find an audience?
I think so. I think like I write bits and pieces, like not really writing a book, but just like short pieces. They find their way into that, but I have never really sat there and thought, right, I'm going to make this into like a stand-up show. I've never done that, but that's something I'm planning on doing.
You should.
But it's easier to write it into like a short section. Like I started writing a thing called People Watching, which was just talking about watching people, literally, as it does what it says on the tin. And that they find their way into that because I'm literally walking past someone and writing about them, as I'm walking past it. But no, I don't know. I think I just have to see. Just go and try.
You should.
Whatever happens,
Definitely.
happens. Yeah. It's like I watch so much stand up, like James Acaster. Do you like him?
Do you know what? When I stopped doing comedy,
you stopped watching stand up.
I stopped. I was so sick of the whole world, and because it was never a thing that I
you sort of like
dreamed about. I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with that a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty because I've got so many friends who I would love to go and watch, but yeah. And I do, if they come to town, I would go and see them, or if I'm in London or Edinburgh when they're doing a show, I would see it. But but
there's so many Netflix specials, like it's mad, it's crazy.
And I don't enjoy watching stand up on telly.
Have you seen Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. That's like...
I've only watched a few of those. Who did I watch? Can't remember. Yeah.
I just love I just think that's one of the coolest jobs in the world, just going around, just talking about why you find things funny. That's like the dream, or like the trip, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like being Rob Brydon, sat there just eating and chatting, doing stupid impressions.
With an absolute master.
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
That must be pretty surreal.
It must be, but like Jerry Seinfeld's like, I've never seen Seinfeld though. Like I've never seen it.
I had never watched it till about a couple of years ago, and then I watched a good whack of them.
And people say they're the things that you should be watching. It's meant to be like one of the best things ever done. I don't know. I've not seen it, so I can't judge it. We've got the cat in the room. She wants to go outside, but she can't in the dark. I feel like she can't see in the dark, but obviously, of course she can. She's a cat.
Kitty.
She always comes up to see what's going on. Look at her. She's got the body shape of a pear.
Oh. She looks like a princess.
She's not.
Does she think she's a princess?
No, I think she knows that she's not.
knows.
She's a twisted genius.
And not just a princess, she's a fucking queen, right?
That's what she says. The twisted queen.
She's great.
Well, she's not really. Not when you have to live with it. But that's like kids, isn't it? Kids are... Well, you can't say that about your own kid.
Yeah.
But giving a kid back is always good. People say that. But is that true, or is that a thing that people like to say?
What, being completely biased about your own kid?
No, just when people say, I like kids, but I like to give them back. Is that just
I think that's just a thing people
say.
It's just part of the script, isn't it?
That is like one of those things that have been said so many times that now it's become truth.
I would imagine for some people it is probably true. I think grandparents must feel that sense of relief of I've got a lovely day, but I can hand them back for the.
That's true. I think the only look, if you're out there and you're saying that kind of thing and you're not a grandparent, and just fuck off, because it's not true.
Although, having said that, if you've looked after someone's kid and it's absolutely exhausting, and by mid-afternoon you're just done, you want a nap, or you want a bloody pint or whatever,
or a bit of H.
Nice bit of H. You want to burn some nag champa.
Get the H going. So has having a kid changed your life dramatically?
Oh God, yeah.
Has it focused you?
Do you know what? I felt like I was absolutely brain dead because it's just so massive.
Yeah.
And actually I've just written a play, and I don't quite know how I've done it, because I had a deadline on the 1st of February and was moving that month as well. Moved at the end of January, and I just thought, I don't know how this is going to work.
No.
But yeah, I got there. I did it. So it must have been a certain focus, because I didn't have the luxury of just thinking, I'll write until 3:30 in the morning and then roll out of bed when I want, and all my old habits as a writer.
Did that worry you? Do you think, oh God, how am I going to fit this in? Or did you not?
Yeah, no, I really felt like I was going to have a breakdown in January. I felt really, really, really deeply anxious.
That shows I've got something wrong with me then, because I almost laughed at you.
Yeah, you just laughed at me. Oh yeah,
saying I'm almost at a breakdown.
Like I just cracked up, babe.
Yeah. So
if it hadn't been for the nans, my mum and George's mum looking after Marcy, I would, there's no way. But now I know I can do it, so...
So she's just sat there while you're writing?
Sometimes, yeah. And I don't get a lot done now because she's kind of started, not toddling quite, but she can move. She's crawling around very, very quick.
Running
she can
about.
stand, and she's pulling all my books off the shelves and stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, the kind of...
All the standard things. That's what the cat does. Cat pulls things off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jumps up on the curtain, pulls that down a bit.
Aww.
Scratches our feet in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah, no, that would freak me out.
No, I can't handle it. It's like you think there's some burglar in the room nibbling your feet. But that'd be a weird thing for a burglar to do.
It would. God, can you imagine? You'd never get over it, would you? Can you imagine waking up and someone's nibbling at your toes?
A little burglar just nibbling at you,
Oh, no.
scratching you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I much prefer that not to happen if I could choose.
I think that's something to be avoided,
I do.
if possible.
I actually properly had a headache for Saturday and Sunday, and then I realised it's because I didn't have anything, no caffeine at all, and I need to stop.
Yeah. Could you go a whole week, do you reckon?
I think
Have
I
you
could.
what's the longest you've ever been without coffee?
Probably might be 2 days, the longest for about 6 years.
And did you get twitchy?
Did I get twitchy?
Yeah.
Got shakes.
You got the shakes.
Got the shakes.
Like alcoholics get, and they've had...
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's hard for us, people that are addicted to coffee. Ugh.
And when did this problem begin?
I can't remember exactly when it began, but it developed through time. Well, like you got through you weren't addicted, you didn't want to be addicted, but then you became addicted.
Yeah.
Being a teacher's hard though.
Oh man, the first week I was teaching, before I get onto the coffee,
Yeah.
I used to go because I was at a school with a drama studio, and I was the only person that had to go in the drama studio. So I used to go in at break time and just have a little nap because I was so done in.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Right.
weird.
So you had to have a nap because you didn't have your coffee, or what?
I wasn't on coffee at that point, so I had to nap, and that's when I discovered coffee.
So nap was your coffee.
Yeah, and
Alright.
then I realised, no, I've got to get over this
Yeah.
little allergy thing.
Yeah.
I don't-
Really?
It doesn't matter if my throat's constricted.
No, that's fine as long as you stay awake. If you can't breathe, it's, what?
Yeah.
Who cares, really? But, if you're awake, bonus. Talking about addictions, I realised I moved it, and I wasn't going to mention it, but I had a spoon and a lighter on the table, and I thought, she's going to think I'm a heroin addict. So I moved it.
What is the spoon for?
I don't know why it was up here, but it's not for heroin. Let's just start with that.
You should have just left it out and let me worry.
Yeah.
You would have been an enigma.
Well, it would have been like Russell Brand or something. I don't know. Heroin's a tough one to get into. At least coffee's not that bad.
Oh, I can't even imagine having the guts to try it, knowing that you probably would like it.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, there is a thing in London with like rich Saudis and Chinese people, and all nationalities that are rich. I don't know, could be any nationality, but apparently rich people are taking heroin now as like a upmarket drug.
As a kind of
As like-
tourist thing,
Well,
like every now and then, like come to the city
That's it.
once every 6 months.
Yeah,
and
and
have a little dabble.
Have a little bit of H. Is that what people call it? H.
Let's call it H.
It's like H from
I
steps.
don't know what the cool lingo is for all the drugs now.
Well, I don't know if there's
For
any.
all the drugs.
Yeah.
Check out Mum.
Yeah. Hey, Mum. The doobies and that.
The jazz cigarettes. Yeah.
Brown.
H. Brown.
Gear. Well, that just could be used for anything, really, couldn't it?
Yeah, gear just makes me think of smoking.
Yeah. Drugs.
I never really know what smack is. That's heroin.
I
isn't
think
it?
that's heroin.
Yeah. It's not heroin mixed with something.
I don't think so.
Do you like how naive we're coming across?
Yeah, well, are we pretending? I think people would be going, if this makes it, then people are going, are they lying? Because is this like a way to clear their name in Southend? Yeah. They're using this as a tool to like make sure that people don't think they're drug addicts.
Yeah, quash all the filthy rumours.
Yeah, like a double bluff in poker, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with drugs.
Well, now you'll never know.
I think, most people that have listened to that now, I mean, if there is any heroin addicts listening, they're going to start calling it H, because it's like sort of relaxed.
We've changed the mean streets. We've changed the language.
We actually have changed the landscape of urban Britain right now. Just then.
Now all we need to do is fix Brexit.
Yes.
And we've had a really good day.
Well, you've had a massage.
I've had a lovely massage.
We've not here. That's not part of the podcast.
That would be a weird warm-up.
The past 4 guests. That's not part of it. I don't sell that.
What time do you want me? Just come round at 5, or if you want a massage first, come round at 4.
It would be a good. Maybe I've got more chance of getting more people on the podcast.
I reckon you would.
Yeah, maybe start selling it as
I think you'd get a lot more candour out of people, actually. I think
Maybe
you'd lull them into that sense of like deep intimacy, and
saying
just
anything.
tell you everything.
Yeah, I could start offering massages and selling H.
Yeah, be a proper little
like a really
den of
sordid
vice.
podcast.
Would you offer happy endings at the end of the massage?
I'd have to think about it. Maybe I'd get someone in to do that. So if they requested it, I'd go out to Darren.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It could be Darren. Could be a woman. It could be anyone really.
Oh, Darren.
I could have various rooms. It depends what people's type is, but that would be a lot of admin.
Be a lot of admin, and you'd be giving up a lot of space.
Yeah, and
I think it'd encroach on your personal life.
on my personal life, sort of just my living space. Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to do that.
Your cat would probably get in a half.
Not to get too weird, but maybe some people might like that.
Like
the cat being there or something. I don't know.
I was picturing something disgusting.
Me too. The cat has left as well because she's like, no, I'm not doing that.
What are you signing me up for?
Well, yeah, I do, like you just said, I do sort of envy people that can just be like, I'm done now, and just sit there.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it, but I treat myself to it sometimes.
I wonder if that's something you learn, or something that's just natural, that sense of...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That sense of constant, not productivity even, I suppose, but just really just being a doer and wanting to...
Yeah. What do you think? What do you mean? Is it something you learn to be able to put it away? Or do you mean, is it something you learn to like continue doing? No,
like if you... I guess it comes from wanting to do something that's not your main job. So you make time to do it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if once you've got into the groove of using your time to do that, whether you could ever go back to do it, just literally switching off after work and then being content to just not do nothing, because no one does nothing, but, you know.
I think that's probably something that it's probably an addiction
to
some extent, just not, and sort of also if you've got like a brain where you want to sort of not think about things too much, then you just fill it with doing stuff, I suppose, which is something that I used to do a lot, but not so much now. But I still do it sometimes, sort of just try and constantly do whatever it is. As like a way to like, I don't know. People say, oh, you do, you know, people that's like people that do loads of different stuff. That's how I am actually productive. Like it's with coursework at school and stuff like that. I would literally leave it till the last minute and then do it. Like that is literally how I did it. So yeah, I think it's probably just the way I'm most productive. Are you just constantly, or were you before, just constantly doing stuff?
I've always been busy, but I definitely had a better ability to switch off when I had a chance to. Like I could just have long lay-ins. I could crash out and watch loads of episodes or something, or loads of films in one go, and have a complete unabashed day off. But now I don't think I could even do that if I had the time to do it. I don't know. I think I would maybe be able to lie in bed till about 9, and then I'd be like, right, no,
Go and do it.
yeah, I just feel a bit
Do you feel
itchy
like
staying in bed and
just need to get it out, do the things that you got to do.
yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, one thing that I always try to be is patient because really, well, a bit different with you because you're making productions and doing that stuff, but I'm kind of doing bits on the side and sort of seeing how things happen. But I used to
But this is a production, doing podcasts.
Of course, yeah.
Production.
But the thing with this now is that I try and be patient about it all. So the other day I caught myself really like not fretting, but I was like, oh, I've got to get it out, and I was like, hang on, no, you don't.
You're your own boss, mate.
I'm like, I'm literally setting my own deadlines. I don't need to do anything. It's like if you're just patient, but as well as productive, you'll probably get a good outcome.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think pushing yourself is good, and I think actually giving yourself deadlines is also good. But forgive yourself if you don't achieve it.
Don't beat yourself up too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can. Yeah, you just like fret. What I used to do is write a list of all the things that I needed to do, which I still do to an extent. But it used to be like fucking 80 bullet points of things that I needed to do. But I just don't even do that anymore.
And is that a creative checklist?
Yes,
or is that
a creative
that's
checklist.
not just like go and buy milk,
do milk,
record a podcast.
No, well, the record the podcast might be, buy some H. Yeah, go out, get coffee, and then get some H because the coffee's not quite strong enough anymore.
Start up your incense subscription business.
Exactly, but yeah, that would be like a long list. Yeah. I think that's a good.
But that's great because that means that you're going to have a life where you will in no way have got close to ticking everything off, because that's not what happens. But you will have got a lot more done as a result of having that list.
I hope so. I try.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, I think just being patient is the most important thing. Stress is something I just completely don't. I just don't let it in anymore.
Yeah.
Not even a bit. It doesn't. If it creeps in for like 5 minutes and then it goes.
And what was the turning point in you saying no?
Probably meeting Ella, to be honest, or just a little bit before, and my life sort of started to become, this is what I want it to be like, working from home, doing my own things and stuff like that. I think that was probably the turning point. Yeah.
So a sense of freedom.
Yeah, like they call it a rebirth. Yeah, like not really a new person. I've always been pretty chilled, but yeah, I don't think no stress is allowed. That's why the podcast is called it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I need to adopt a bit more of that policy now.
Yeah.
I used to be really good at kind of being a bit more chilled, and I feel like I'm not terribly forgiving of myself and others, actually.
Okay.
I feel like I'm quite a bit more demanding than I used to be.
A bit of a bitch now.
Not a bitch, just because I just worry. And I think it is, probably because I'm juggling so much, and I think anxiety is definitely higher in me.
Right.
And I think it's for several reasons. And I kind of have recently promised myself to try and go back to what used to feel like my default mode, which was quite chilled. If you can't change anything, don't worry, go with the flow. I was really, really chilled. And
worrying doesn't do anything, does it, really? Worry.
No, and I think social media and stuff like that had a massive part to play in ramping you right up to levels that aren't natural, and certainly not natural for me.
Yeah. Is that that is because you see it might be just somebody's life you're seeing a picture of, but often it's like, especially if you follow loads of people that make music and stuff, all you see is the product straight away. You don't see that fucking 3 years of like trying to get to that point, and then you think, God, I'm actually far behind, but actually that person as well was been going through loads of stuff and it's eventually got there.
I don't even think it's always about what you're seeing and buying into and everything. I think it's because I did a social media job for a while, and that was very highly stressful.
Yeah.
and also I use social media a lot in what I do, and because I produce my own stuff, unfortunately, and to be honest, I've promised myself not to do it again and to employ someone to do it for me on the next production, because I can't do everything.
No.
But yeah, and I do think it's just this constant thing, because it's not a 9 to 5 thing. Social media is just
24
like
hour,
all pervading, just constant, and
the
right
big
there in front of you.
constant distraction. I feel
Yeah.
so much better. I try not to look at my phone. What I'm trying to do at the moment is not look at, as soon as I wake up, don't look at my phone straight away. I'm trying so hard to do that. Bit hard though, because my alarm's on my phone, so it's like I need to get an alarm clock and then not bother doing that. Put the phone in the other room, or just put it away.
It's the most natural thing to do as well, isn't it? While you're still lying there before you're, upright and out getting ready for the day. Is to scroll through something. And it's just like it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not healthy. It's like our makeup is not meant to be able to deal with that situation. Like the way we take things in is not quick enough. We're not meant to be doing that.
Well, just that, the technological aspect of it aside, we're not supposed to have that many people in our lives.
No,
we're supposed to be in tiny little villages, and maybe you've got a few mates a couple of villages over or whatever. We're not supposed to have thousands of links across the world that are instant, and being able to keep on top. You can't keep on top of everyone and everything.
Group chats and WhatsApp messages. I just like, oh God, I haven't even replied to my mum. I haven't spoke to her for 3 days. I forgot to speak to her.
And then the pressure of feeling like you're not doing people justice, like, oh shit, I forgot to respond to this person who's not having a good day. And it's not because you don't care about them, it's just because everything is just
so much
constant bombardment.
It's just, that is new age like craziness, isn't it? It's like, that should not be happening. And like you say, you do feel like a real like duty to speak to everybody. But then if you do that, you're sort of dividing yourself up so much, you might as well not. You know? I think it's just... when our brain it cannot handle the amount of data it's being thrown at it.
Absolutely not.
And I just think that it's just some sort of government conspiracy. I don't.
What, to weaken us all?
I think it's one thing that I do think about a lot, is that we're given such a platform to talk about whatever it is we want to talk about, but most of the time we end up ripping each other's argument apart. We're just like, it's like destruct mode.
Yeah.
They give you, I don't think it's like a conscious decision, really. I just think that's the way it's developed. And now we've got the phone in our hand where we can talk to everyone in the world practically. Well, on social media, of course. And then you debate. It's like, I saw this thing, like a Facebook Labour group, and they were talking about LGBT issues. And it was like a picture of a transgender man. Is that the right way around? It's like a transgender woman, so it's like a man dressed as a lady.
Yeah.
And there was this woman on there really having a go at him, but I got into a discussion with her and said, hang on a sec. Her argument was that the overall argument was that it was an LGBT Labour event, but it was apparently a woman, like the women's conference or female conference or whatever it's called, and she did not like the fact that guy was there empowering himself as a woman, because she felt under threat. She thought like women are under threat by men that are dressing as women or being...
But what is the threat?
I don't know.
What is the threat?
That's what I couldn't get.
Why is that a threat?
I can't understand. And the point that I brought that up is because I thought that the LGBT community would be on each other's side, but they ain't.
Oh God, the factions.
And I didn't even know. I was so ignorant to that. And I just thought, wow, that's really amazing. I just assumed that all of these people in this group were on each other's side, but they're not. Her argument, this woman said that she felt that if men can now be classed as women and they can also be classed as lesbian, she didn't think there's such thing as like transgender. She said it's not a thing. She felt, and I could kind of see it from her point of view, even though I didn't agree. She said that if men become women and they can be lesbians, it just wipes out women. She felt like it was some sort of conspiracy against women,
right,
by the patriarchy to like dress up as a woman and take over women. She said what women have got no place in society if that became the norm.
Okay. But
What
it
do you
would
think
never
about that?
become the norm
No,
because
of course,
it's you know, a minority.
A massive minority.
Massive minority.
Yeah, like something that doesn't need to be worried about. Like
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, what do you think about that? Is that I could not believe that.
I struggle with all this because I feel like I don't. Not well. It's because it's not in my immediate world because I don't have those, issues, and I don't have any transgender. Well, I do know transgender people, but I've never really had transgender friends where I feel like their experience is part of my life, and I haven't listened to them speak about it a lot. But so I feel a bit naive, and I do feel like I would trip myself up if I were to try and articulate what I thought, and I feel like I would also probably offend. So I am doing a new show, haven't started writing it yet, need to do that like pronto, and it's for Latitude Festival, and the the title that I threw at the woman who runs it is Cunts and Flowers, because I want to write something about the female body and the female experience, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and then I realised that some people might find that quite exclusive.
Okay.
Would exclude certain people of a particular female experience.
Okay.
And people, people who would identify as female might find that it excludes them if they don't actually have lady bits. A cunt, as it were.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, oh yeah, but surely
that's difficult, isn't it?
I would want them to come in and hear about the female experience from someone who has a cunt, and not feel excluded.
No, right, okay, yeah, that's amazing.
But that I shouldn't feel like I can't talk about my experience because I'm 38 years of having a cunt.
Yeah, and experiencing it.
And so it's.
That's difficult, isn't it? It's like you don't really know, especially people that are like really open-minded, like us and loads of other people. It's difficult that you feel like maybe you can't really talk about it, but that's tough, isn't it? But then what is being a woman, what's being a man? It's not really defined by anything apart from feeling, I suppose. It's like when women can't have children or men can't have children, they feel like some people, I don't know, I'm probably assuming this, but they feel like maybe they don't feel like a woman, I suppose, I don't know, or a proper man, whatever that even is, because of the fact that they can't have kids. But that doesn't define you as like whatever gender you are, surely. It's just you're defined by whatever you feel. Yeah,
and that's as it should be, and you should be whatever you want.
Yeah. So basically, that title's fine. What did they say about the title then?
Well, to be honest, I just lobbed it out there.
A bit flippant.
As a kind of, here's a title, and the woman loved it and booked it and said, yes, great, you're on board. And I was like, excellent. And then afterwards, I did think, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to get booked around the arts centres and theatres on the old tour circuit with a title like that.
But then maybe it's something that doesn't need to be on that.
But then I've also spoken to a couple of people who direct and create their own work, and someone who actually runs a venue, and he said that they absolutely would program it. Yeah. So I don't know. So I've got a backup title if I need it. The Big Shebang, as in the big she bang.
Okay, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a can of worms.
It is a can of worms,
to say the least.
And it's awful because I feel a little bit muted on the subject. Like I couldn't say something without offending someone, so I just won't.
Yeah, but do you think people are really even offended? Is it like a thing that's created by the media or people that like makes them feel uncomfortable? It's just a thing that's created to undermine the argument, to like undermine transgender people.
I don't know. I don't think so, because my friend Deborah, she does the Guilty Feminist podcast, and she also does Global Pillage, which is kind of a podcast with a diverse range of people presented it, on the panel, and that's its whole purpose, to give a platform to people that don't normally get booked for those kinds of things. And her world has just opened up so much since doing those podcasts because she has everyone's perspective, and I don't know how her brain handles it all, but I would definitely go to her and ask her for her advice on something to see whether it's not even about being PC, but I would say, am I opening myself up for trouble, or am I going to offend someone massively with this naive use of this one word that 2 years ago was fine and now isn't, or whatever? Do you know what I mean?
But also, what your attitude towards it. So, like, just because somebody might think, oh, that's not exactly right. Well, that doesn't, like, one word doesn't sort of validate your opinion.
I think
you are saying what you're saying, but you're what you actually believe can't be put into every single word you write.
No.
So you've got like you'll have like just a set of values that are yours. So the words don't really. It's fucking play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think.
But yeah, you don't want to upset people, of course.
You're putting a lot of. Like, you would hope that people would watch whatever you create or listen to whatever you create and trust that you're coming at it from a good place.
Yes.
A good place. You've got a good heart, and that you're, there is no judgment on your part towards any kind of person other than paedophiles, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, because that's why there's so much, furor on social media all the time. People kicking off against other people over tiny things as well, as well as big things.
I mean, I have obviously no real right to say that because I am not a woman, or I experience what I experience. But I just think that it's an argument that sort of just undermines the reality of being a woman or being a man. I just feel like.
What do you mean? Like women feel like they can't speak about their own experience in case it excludes others?
Yeah, just like when you see those stories, like a woman or a person that identifies as a dog now, or some fucking bullshit story that's just created to that's what I kind of was getting at with like groups tearing each other apart, because really that argument, or well, not argument, that's the stories about people identifying as whatever they're identifying as. That just undermines the argument of what it actually is, which is like people that feel like a woman or feel like a man or feel like nothing like that. So I just feel like it could get to the stage where people just don't write about that anymore, because it's like, oh God, what if that happened? That'd be ridiculous. Yeah. Because there's no real like set of perfect words, surely. Like,
no. And what if I write a show that as I'm sure will happen, where in Cunts and Flowers I will at some point touch on the fact that I've had a baby, and that that is my experience of in the last year or so of being a woman, and people are offended because they can't have a baby.
I'm not sure if do you know what I mean? I do know exactly what you mean, and I just feel like I don't know, I might sound mad saying it, but I don't even know if people are being offended by that, nor does the cat. I just want we're back to your play. That is a can of worms, but then like the whole subject is, I suppose, because there are men that don't even believe that feminism is a real thing, or like shouldn't be a thing. So, what is the play? About? What's your play about? Is it about being a woman, or is it about feminism ultimately?
I'll tell you when I've written it.
Right? Yeah, fair.
I don't know. No. See what comes out.
But surely they're both the same.
Yeah.
It's the same subject.
It's just going to be, it depends which way we go with it, whether it's something that's just written for me and Sarah, that kind of tells our experiences, or if we open it up and kind of do a bit more of a telling other female experiences. I don't know. That's the next stage. I need to have
I'm not telling you how to write. I feel like I'm telling you how to write your play now. Jesus, look at me. I'm just doing a podcast. Maybe you should do this.
Just write it for me.
Then you'll have a segment of a transgender woman in there, surely. And that would validate the whole...
But then I'd have to be careful, because I couldn't write I'd come up against criticism if I tried to write something I've got no experience of.
Yeah, but I suppose you can talk to people that have experience.
Yeah, so I would have to do some research and demonstrate
I'm glad I'm not writing the play.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really, really deep. That's crazy, though, isn't it? That it makes sense. Obviously, you don't want to upset people, but there is, in art though, it's art, isn't it?
And you want to be bold as well. You don't want to
Yeah.
write some fucking watered down shit that you don't give a shit about.
Sorry, I might upset somebody. Well,
yeah, I mean
no.
that's no. Yeah, no, I couldn't.
No,
I'm not. Right.
Gonna do that.
Yeah. No.
yeah, fair. No, that is a serious subject, and I don't know. I wonder if I wonder who's actually getting offended by it.
Well, we'll do a follow-up piece after Latitude, and I'll let you know how
As if you
how
make
it
it
goes
out.
down. Yeah, probably get pelted with cider cans.
Maybe, yeah. Well, could be, or beer. Why cider?
Don't want to discriminate.
Yeah, right. It could be wine.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
Anything.
Whiskey bottle. That'd be harsh. It would have been.
I'm up for being pelted by anything. I don't want to be.
No, yeah, you don't want to shut yourself off. But a whiskey bottle, ideally not.
No. I mean, ideally, I'd just like to be knocked out rather than taken out for good.
Or people just clap and enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be ending this. Let's try and do the quickest advert ever. This podcast is sponsored by Vocal Zone, which is a throat pastel company. It's basically a throat pastel that soothes your voice, keeps you nice and smooth. Slow down a bit. They also do teas. They've got various flavours like myrrh and mint, red sage and fennel, and lemon, ginger and manuka leaf. And they're bloody delicious and they really work. They keep you smooth in the old voice. Enter a code onto their website, which is VZNoStress19, VZNoStress19, onto their product code thing, and you'll make me look good. What is the best thing about being alive?
I think that we feel in a momentary feeling.
Anything. The thing that you think is the best thing about being alive, and it could be personal, or you could do personal, and you could do a thing for everyone.
Okay, so I think, best thing about living alive, it's got to be the euphoria of just. Obviously, this is going to be my perspective at the moment, but the euphoria of just looking at this tiny thing that you've made, and that love.
The best thing
is just insane. And it's such and love doesn't even begin to cover the feelings that you're feeling all at once either. It's like
you can't explain it to anyone.
It's just so many things like fear and pity and it just
every emotion at once.
Magic, yeah. It's just insane. Cause I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, how can I pity her? She's so happy. She's such a happy little girl. And I'd feel pity for her for every tiny little fragment of sadness she'll ever feel.
Yeah, right. Well, because you know what's coming for her.
Yeah,
I suppose. Yeah.
And it's like a real inevitable sharp feeling.
Do you feel excited to sort of explain or like try your best to get across like your experiences and like shape a person, or do you think just let it become whatever it ends up being? I
don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think, oh God, I can really create some crazy person here?
I mean,
a machine of a person.
No, I think part of the fun is going to be seeing what comes out naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there are things that I would definitely kind of want to instill, like kindness and good manners, which I think you have to be, in order to get it in there, it has to be quite a rigid structure, part of your parenting, I guess. But I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm so new to it. I've
no
clue. So yeah, making it up as I go along, really. But I think, it's about seeing what little person they become.
See what happens.
And
that is exciting. I get excited for my own life. So once I have a little thing I've made, my excitement would be doubled by what their life could be.
Oh yeah. God! And it's every tiny little development that happens. Her teeth growing, or the fact that one day she'll go towards, I don't know, she'll be all about the food and or whatever. you know, you're constantly thinking, oh, what is she going to be? What's she
Yeah.
going to do? What's she going to love? You know, is she going to be...
That's exciting.
When she kind of builds things or kind of tries to figure things out with her hands, you know, does that mean she's going to have a scientific brain? Is she going to be into construction?
Yeah.
All that kind of... You know,
I can imagine that
like,
one of the most exciting things for me would be to show the little person all the things that you love. And being like, oh, this changed my life.
Yeah.
And then hoping that their reaction isn't like, Mum, this is shit.
Yeah.
Like, get it out my face. Would you be heartbroken if that happened? You'd think, oh, I really want them to like this film that I loved.
I just think as long as she's passionate about something, I would be happy. Like if she didn't turn out to love words as much as me, or you know, or want to perform, or any of that stuff, but she loved something else that made her really happy, then I think that's all I can imagine you want as a parent. I don't know.
No, what about like I'm trying to be vegetarian.
Yeah.
I think, and Ella's vegetarian and has been for a long time, I think, God, what will I bring up the kid to be vegetarian, or do I let it decide for itself?
I'm not struggling with this, but I do think about it quite a bit, because where Marcy's now eating food and isn't just on the milk, I feel guilty giving her meat. Okay. And I was vegetarian and very briefly vegan, and then I fell off the wagon. And then obviously when I was pregnant, I was just eating whatever because I felt like I should just eat what I needed.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And now, but I feel like I actually had a bit of mincemeat the other night, and I was like, I feel bad giving her that because she doesn't know where that's come from. She doesn't know that is what it is, and I feel like I'm inflicting that on her, and I don't like it.
No, right. I can imagine some people, like my instinct would be to as like soon as possible explain where it comes from.
Yeah.
But then I can imagine some people being saying, well, you're forcing it upon them, but you're not really. You are. I mean, I'm not a preachy vegetarian at all. Like, I ate turkey at Christmas. That's not a vegetarian. But I think you're not. You wouldn't be preaching vegetarianism to them. You'd be showing them what the facts are, and that's
yeah. It's like religion, isn't it? You explain things you give them the options and see if anything.
Yeah.
You know, strikes a chord with them, I guess, but. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I don't know.
It's really hard, but I wasn't.
You felt guilty.
Part of me wants her to eat whatever she just needs.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, like.
Yeah, it's become as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And if that means meat and cheese, then that's all I give a shit about. But I do feel guilty letting her have meat. Yeah. She hasn't had it very much, but when she does, I feel like it doesn't sit right with me.
It's a tough one. Have you seen the Simon Amstel documentary?
No, I haven't.
Oh, mate, you got to watch it.
No, I haven't watched it.
It's really good. Do you know what it's about?
Vaguely.
Yeah, so it's like a mockumentary set in like 50 years from now, and it's like talking to camera pieces of people that were kids sort of at this time, but now they're like 55 and they're like crying to camera, looking in camera saying, we didn't know, it was just like a ingrained thing, we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't know it came from this. It's really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it. What is it? I think it's called I can't remember, but it's really good.
I would like to watch it.
Yeah, it's like it's mind blowing. Yeah,
because it's really hard. I feel like a little bit like I've turned my back on. I was trying so hard with the veganism thing, and then life, and then you know when you're busy and anxious, and you literally at work I just went back to eating whatever was in the fridge, just because I only had 2 minutes to eat.
Yeah,
and I never got my head around being organised enough to plan ahead.
Yeah, it does take planning though, doesn't it? It's like you can't just like there's not that many. I mean, there's a lot more options now if you want to do it, but it is a pretty unbelievable lie, isn't it? The meat industry and that.
Yeah, it's disgusting. We're totally.
It's
just
weird.
Manipulated, aren't we?
Yeah, it's not choice. It's not like you don't have free choice over what you eat. You literally eat what they tell you to.
Yeah.
And it's things like I always struggle with that pyramid thing. I always mention this, and I always can't remember what it's called. Where it's vegetables at the bottom, dairy, then it's meat and fat and sugar at the top. That is just created by supermarkets to sell you that shit.
Yeah.
And so you could you ate whatever you wanted to when you were pregnant to make sure that your baby was going to be as healthy as possible. But I just wonder if that is like a really ingrained thing also. Do you know what I mean? Like for you to feel like that's what you should do, but maybe surely there's other ways to do.
Oh
that,
yeah, there's you absolutely.
But that's what the point is that is out of your control. Like it's out of our control what we think and feel.
Yeah. And also your body tells you.
Yeah, I want
what you want.
I want chicken, please.
Yeah, and it's a pretty strong thing.
I've been eating fish a bit. It's just hard, isn't it? Life's difficult. I can't
Life
bother
is
to
difficult, babe.
Being a vegetarian.
Just when you think you've got the hang of one thing, something else goes
they're
wrong.
like, oh, by the way, you got to be careful what word you use in a feminist play.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm trying to be a vegan.
Just
I've just had a kid.
write about my vagina.
I've just had a baby. I know I want to be a vegan, but fuck, I ain't got time. There's Photoshop. There's fucking shitloads on Netflix and that. I can't go to any of my mates' gigs. I can't text everyone back. It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Life, eh?
Do you feel like we're fixing anything? Do you feel like we're finding answers?
I think the best thing, you don't really need any answers, I reckon. You just need to know that you need to find answers. Don't think it even matters if you find them.
It's just the journey.
Yeah, I think so. But what can you really do? Two people in a room. One, what can you do? You know what I mean?
Burn some incense.
Yeah, burn some incense. Get the H going. Boil that fucker up. Yeah, get that in your veins. Fucking chill out.
What is your optimum way of relaxing?
I get obsessed with things really quickly, like music and comedy. So if I will watch Peep Show. I've probably seen every episode of Peep Show like 300 times, no exaggeration. It's like I listen to the same podcasts, or like Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, Cole Pilkington. I listen to the same thing over and over again, and it feels like that is my calm bit, because it's familiarity, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, cooking. I like cook as much as possible. That is a form of meditation, yeah.
Definitely.
Do you cook a lot?
I used to cook a lot more than I do now, and whenever I do spend time cooking, I've been doing a lot of batch cooking, so cooking massive of things, so then I don't have to cook every night.
Up, yeah.
But yeah, when I do it, I find it very relaxing. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
that is probably the way I get calm. Yeah, like I stop the busy day, cook. If I don't, somebody else said this, can't remember who that I've already spoke to, but they said if they come through the door and they eat straight away, they don't have that time to relax and sort of come back to like normal, like stability and like normal pace of life. Yeah, I think cooking, yeah. But then constant watching of The Office, like I know every line. It's not normal. Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you do that?
I mean, I used to be like that.
Absolutely fabulous.
Years ago, I used to rewatch things, and I haven't done it so much. But then I rewatched the entire, 10 series of Friends while I was pregnant, waiting to drop. Yeah. And I just absolutely annihilated it because I couldn't do much else. And when I started watching it, I was like, I bet you the moment I finish this, I go into labour. And I was just joking, and then it was pretty soon afterwards.
Well, solid. At least you got to watch it. At least you didn't interrupt that bit of your life as well.
But then I've just watched the whole lot again.
Oh, nice.
So I just have it, and I'm not really watching it. It's just on in the background if I'm pottering around.
Do you watch? Yeah, that's exactly what I do. When you watch things like that, are you like? Because I don't know if I do this consciously, but I think that I probably should like watch stuff and analyse it. Do you ever do that?
No.
To like pick things out of it?
No, I don't think I do. No. I think it's a real trying to switch my brain off because I don't watch an awful lot, and I didn't have a telly for years, and I think I like to watch things that are either beautiful and or intense or whatever, and make me feel something, or something to stop my brain from working.
I wonder
And
if
I don't really enter into a critical thing. I like a good discussion afterwards.
that might be a good experiment, though, to watch something you've seen a lot and then write down why you think it's funny or good.
Yeah.
And then I probably would learn a lot from that.
But rewatching Friends, I'm not watching it because I think, I'm not
that's-
laughing in the same way.
It's like pace.
Yeah, but it's like a familiarity and a comfort thing, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Oh my God. But I go through
Yeah.
phases. I try not to. And the thing that's mad about it is that there's so much to watch and listen to. I do it when I listen to the same thing on Spotify. I'm like, what am I doing that for? I've got the whole library.
I do
of
that, and then you
everything
get
ever.
anxiety.
Yeah.
I get anxiety if I'm on the tube and I'm just walking past poster after poster after poster after poster, and then I just think, I will never go and see all those exhibitions.
No, yeah.
I will never see all those shows. I will never listen to all those albums. And then I get this like real rush of like, life's not long enough, and we just can't do everything.
Unless we get some interface where you can plug into your brain,
Yeah.
plug into a computer and watch everything, which might be possible. I listened to a podcast with Elon Musk the other day, and he said that it is inevitable that we will have some interface into our brain that will allow us to take on more information. So then if that happens, then you might be sorted.
Can you truly enjoy it though if that's not your primary experience in that moment?
That is a good question. If you had the ability to listen to or experience every song in a minute, and you'd be able to take it in the same way, I assume that's how it would work. But would that be as beautiful as listening to it in the moment?
However, for things like learning your driving theory and
happy
shit,
days, yeah, plug in.
like for
plug me in.
literally just downloading information,
Info,
that would be
yeah.
amazing.
And you'd know
But yeah,
everything.
not for the human experience. No.
Yeah. He said that you're already an extension. You're already a cyborg because the phone is the extension of yourself. He says you're so much cleverer with your phone. So imagine if you have that instantaneously put in your head, which will eventually be done, and then you'll be able to choose whether you are a cyborg, to call it that, but you still have your biological.
So you have different modes.
Well, you just know everything, and you wouldn't know everything, but you'd be able to. If somebody asks you a question, you just know the answer straight away. But you could keep your biological body, or that would be one option. Another option would be to not do it and just be normal, or you could be plugged in to this all-knowing interface, but take your biological self away and just be installed into a computer. That is the kind of shit that
What
he's
would you
talking
choose?
about.
Would you choose to have that readily
I think I would,
at your disposal?
but I don't know.
But the thing is, the fear would be how your life would suffer as a result if you weren't that high functioning. Like if you chose to stay real, would you not get the jobs? Would you be seen as like sub?
Well, I suppose you would still have value, wouldn't you? You'd I don't know. You don't know, obviously, but yeah, I guess you'd still have value because you'd still have your own opinion still, but it would now be shaped by fact and not shit you made up. What would people be like?
Oh, dreadful! I think we'd be unbearable.
It'd be just like full of fucking.
Just all be really homogenous.
People would know everything. The whole point of this podcast is to aim for that. Like, ideally, we just all want to love each other and agree, but that would be boring, wouldn't it? That'd be shit.
Yeah.
If imagine a room full of people that had access to all info, they would be fucking shit boring.
Absolutely.
Worse than comedians. Like way worse. Comedians times 100.
Because I don't think we deal well with not having a pursuit.
No. Yes.
I think that's part of the beauty and the fascination of being the race we are, isn't it? Is never quite, man's reach should exceed his grasp. And yeah, that's what keeps us alive, isn't it?
The pursuit for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is never the
Art.
same thing for,
everyone. Yeah. Like art, music, family, car. I mean, that one's shit.
I don't even know if I'd be if I know what my pursuit is.
No, I think it's just... I agree, yeah.
Can many people articulate what it is?
No.
And do we know when we've got it?
I get points where I can't explain what my thoughts are. Like, I know what they are, but I'm like, I can't comprehend. Like, give me that bit of the brain where I can comprehend what I think. Yeah, it's really annoying being normal, isn't it? Normal human. I'll plug me in, mate. I don't know. Part of the beauty is just the being able to just experience life in the normal way. Listening to, you might not hear that song, but that's fine. One thing I thought the other day was, I was walking like near New Bond Street, and I was like, shit, there's that bar there that's probably really important to someone in their life, but I'll never go in it.
Yeah.
And that is a really good thing about life.
Yeah.
Because we can't experience everything, can't experience the same things. Everyone's sort of makeup's different, and everything they experience is completely different.
Yeah.
But I just think all of our experiences are different, but then you do get people that have similar thoughts and feelings and attitude. So things that they've gone through has sort of had the same chemical reaction in them to bring them to the same space, even though they've had completely different lives. I think that's life. That is the best thing about life.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go.
End on that. We're not done. Yeah. Is there anything you can't write or joke about?
I think that there... No. I think there are things that can be joked about. It's just who does the joking. And I think the more troublesome areas of life can be joked about, as long as you're coming from a perspective where it's your right.
So you earn a right to talk about a certain subject.
Yeah.
Not everyone can just talk about a thing. You actually earn a right to.
Yeah, like there's loads of things that would be really dark and inappropriate to joke about or to make light of, and yet, things like, black people taking back the N-word. Like, no one else should use that word. No one else should use that. But they can do what the hell they want with it. Yeah.
You know Louis C.K., who's not like the best man in the world, who like wanked at a woman and that. Yeah. He done this joke that I thought was really clever. And I think he said, it was like, I'm so happy I'm white. Being white is so much better than being black, because you can go back in time, any time, and being white's just going to be better. And I when I first heard it, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if that's okay. It was like opening line. Yeah. And then I thought, oh shit, no, he is right. That's true. That's right. Like,
always had the privilege.
Yeah. So yeah, but I guess he's never experienced being black, but he's pretty obnoxious anyway. He's not like the best man in the world.
He's not done too great of late, is he?
No, he's not done his best.
What do you think about him gigging again? About him being given the olive branch from the comedy community, as it were?
I just feel like white middle-aged men. If he was a black middle-aged man and he said that, he wouldn't be back on gigging, would he? Do you think?
No.
Just because he's white?
I think across the board, white men are forgiven way more readily.
Got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, and I think there's just that, time-honoured culture of being able to pay their way out of things, whether it's with money or just,
I guess everyone deserves a second chance to an extent. What did he do?
He was supposed to,
Was it he masturbated at a woman or something?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think that was it. And
she didn't want him to do that.
Didn't he just used to sit in front of female comedians in the room and just masturbate? Was it just one, or was it multiple times?
I'm not sure.
To be honest, I've forgotten. My brain is mush.
So and
there was that whole tricky thing of was it Sarah Silverman who kind of didn't speak out, and then she said, "Yeah, but it was just him. That's just what he did," and you're like, "Well."
It's like the Harvey Weinstein thing and all that. They just do it because they've got the power. I suppose it is possible that it could have just been him, but that's like fucking weird anyway. You know?
But again, that's just another case of people just letting people do whatever the fuck they like.
People letting white men do whatever the fuck they like. Because there was no way that a black man doing that would ever gig again, surely. I don't think so.
I don't think. No, I can't imagine it.
And that, kind of getting back to what we spoke about, because he's one of my favourite comedians.
Do you know what? I've never really watched much.
He is really.
He's one of these people where a lot of my friends say they adore him, and comedians say that they really respect him, and.
Well, if you fell out of love of comedy a bit, then it's not a great one to go back to after knowing that he sits there wanking at people.
Now's probably not the time for me to
give someone else a go.
Explore his back catalogue.
But his joke's clever, it's just a shame that he's a pervert. But maybe he's not. Maybe it's just all a laugh.
Do you know what's weird? When I heard that story, what had happened, I kind of got it because I kind of get the culture of it. And
in context, is it less weird?
In context, I just know what certain men are like.
Yeah.
And I know what certain comedians are like. And I think that there's a whole big mess of ego and post-show adrenaline and just feeling like you're on top of the fucking world and you're invincible and you're in a room with other comedians, and it's almost that thing of like, fuck, we're so lucky to be here, can you believe we're doing this? And that just that weird, whatever chemical stuff happens to you after you've done a good show or a bad show, and I think that brings dark things out in people, and I just think it gives you an audacity as well.
Yeah,
I think
it gives you an
invincibility. And if his thing is that kind of gratifying himself in front of people because he can, like Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein was gratifying himself or pressuring others to do it for him because he can, then I kind of get it, because it's such a high. It's not normal life, is it?
No.
Like being Harvey Weinstein he's functioning at a high,
he doesn't,
non-normal level.
Yeah, he does not have normal morals.
No, and I have seen men behave in ways that they probably wouldn't have done if they were working in a bloody office.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah.
That's something I really struggle with, is like analysing issues like that, which I should be like, no, Louis CK is fucking out of order for doing that. I'm not going to watch it anymore. Not in wank. I'm not going to watch his shows. What I struggle with is analysing issues like that from my own perspective. So I excuse it by saying, like what you just said, do you know what I mean? You're a good person with morals, and so we analyse that thing from why we would do it. So it's hard to like take into account that he may do that because he gets like a perverted sexual kick out of doing it. And I struggle with putting myself in that position of analysing it from, what is he doing it for? Not if I did that, why would I be doing that? It's like a totally different.
And also I think people just push boundaries. Like if you're working and living and having fun in a world where you're not being pulled up for your behaviour. It's like children. Children will run around like maniacs if you don't tell them to sit down, eat their dinner at the table, behave properly with this kind of construct of behaviour that we have. And if no one's telling a comedian, dude, put your dick away, mate, Do you know what I mean? We're all just sitting there having a beer after a show. Not cool. If that is the culture and these men aren't being told no, then they're gonna.
Yeah, men just saying it's a laugh, but you know that it's not. That's not a laugh. Do you know what I mean? That isn't funny, is it? Really, it's funny if you're doing it to your mate, I suppose. Like that is kind of funny. Like if you're doing it to your male mate, and it's still weird, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're running down a hotel corridor streaking or whatever,
and banging on your mate's door.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between. There's lots of different levels of playfulness, I guess, isn't there? But
maybe like the people's like the way they manifest their outlook. It's maybe he thinks it's funny. Like maybe they think it's a joke because they haven't got it not being a joke. It's just a joke to them, which is like that's fucking worse actually.
But I mean, this is something I don't get. I suppose maybe because I haven't got a penis, but I don't understand how you could have a fruitful wank as a joke.
No.
At some point, that wank gets serious, right?
Oh yeah, there's moments during where it gets very sinister.
So that's what I don't understand, because I think there's a difference between some flirtation and being silly in a room with, you know, a bunch of comedians and whatever, and I can see the fun aspect of that. And then there's the point where you're just like, mate,
what are you
just
doing?
Sitting there,
wanking.
you know, kind of going at it.
Can't you do anything? Do something else.
Wouldn't you feel like pathetic in the moment of climax? Wouldn't you just be like, oh, I'm sitting here with a fucking handful of goo now?
Well, maybe he just that's the part of it. He likes feeling like pathetic.
What, the shame?
Yeah, maybe he gets some like sick shame out of it. Maybe that's part of it.
Maybe it's there's that sort of like
Harvey Weinstein opening the door with his trousers down. It's like some like subconscious weird feeling of feeling ashamed is nice.
Maybe there's that sense of re-exploring the feeling of what it first felt like when you were discovering your penis as a boy or something. That fear of getting caught. Yeah. And that is part of the thrill. I don't know.
I don't know. Louis C.K. Done.
Anyway, moving on.
That's good. Is it?
What else is on your list, babe? Talk to me. Throw some words at me.
Louis C.K. wanking. I mean, I won't be putting these as the main subjects when I do the title.
You're going to keep it classy.
Yeah. We'll filter that down a bit. Like that won't be the main bit. That's all I'm saying. Do you believe in fate and luck?
Ooh.
Or do you think it's just cause and effect?
Do you know what? I don't know. I believe that sometimes you can hit a certain energy in your day where positivity attracts more positivity, which can feel lucky. I don't really know. So I go through life feeling like, oh, lucky. was that meant to be, or you know, drawing certain lines between things and drawing things that could feel like I was meant to stumble across that, or I was meant to see that. And I think in most cases when I do that, and I believe in not a higher being, but in some sort of energy that can't be explained, it's usually when I need to see that. So I went through a phase after my dad died of believing that, or wanting to believe that every spider I saw was him saying hello, because the day I went to see his body at the Co-op funeral home, cheery story guys, I left my flat and there wasn't a big spider web, and then I came back from seeing him and there was this massive web with a spider right in the middle of it, and I was like, how in the hour or so that I've been gone has that happened. And I really needed to believe that was him saying hello.
Well, it probably was though. I think like if you feel something like that, like you have an actual belief in it, then it probably, I think it's true. I do think that. Like when you say, do you experience lots of coincidences in your life, or things that you think that can't be a coincidence? That's too. You might not even be able to bring any up now, and I struggle when I talk about this. Like I'll think of some examples and we'll come back to it. But it's like things happen. I think that is too coincidental. It's like a glitch in the matrix, as they say.
Yeah. And that is part of the magic, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of not and the not knowing is part of the magic, because I never really settle on what I believe. I don't think.
No. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I always think about a quote by this guy called Terence McKenna. He said, "The moment you believe in something to be true precludes you from believing the opposite."
Yeah.
So if you actually do believe something to be fact, then you're just disregarding totally that the opposite could be possible, but it could be, because not everyone's right all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's a big comfort. I think knowing that there is no one right thing. Kind of, I like that. I enjoy that.
Coincidences that happen to me, such as they don't, but out of context they don't seem that significant, but it's like the other day I needed to pay for parking and I didn't have any cash, and I looked outside my car and there was £2.80. That was the amount I needed for the cash machine.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
And just stuff like that happens to me all the time. Like a song, this is a cheesy love story from my own life. So me and Ella like listen to Fleetwood Mac Dreams quite a lot. And then we went on like one of our first dates and it was playing in the pub we walked into. We weren't even going to go in that pub. And I just feel like there's a lot of energy. You sort of, I do think like your reaction shapes the outcome of whatever's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So I do think that I do believe, even though it sounds very hippie-ish, that you do control your life more than you understand.
And I think sometimes it's just being open to stuff as well, because you go through so much of life not noticing certain things for different reasons. And then when you really tune into things like these little coincidences and stuff, it's lovely, and it's a weird feeling of feeling blessed, even if you don't believe in there being any sort of being that could endow you with that. You still
just comfort.
Yeah, and I think most of my feelings of coincidence have been grief related and stuff to do with my dad, and re-exploring the world through very, very, very different eyes after losing him. And I'm sure I've had lots of moments like that in moments of love and relationships as well. I just can't think of any.
That is not there is thousands of these, and like they happen, and I want to write them down, but most of the time I'm driving or I'm fucking like doing something where I can't write it down.
And you do so easily forget them, don't you? Yeah.
I go, I'll remember that, and then I can't remember it. Yeah. But I need to start writing them down. If I'm driving, I'm pulling over, I'm writing them down now.
What does it feel like to you? Does it feel like luck?
It feels...
does it feel like someone's watching you?
It feels like I can control reality.
So
that's
almost like
like.
a kind of
insanity.
Asking the universe for something, and it gives it to you.
Yeah. I really do believe it.
Okay.
Like, it's very hard because I can't think of any examples, and that always happens. But I just think that it is. I think there's more. Yeah, I do. I've got no evidence apart from belief, which is another question. Why do humans believe in things they can't exist? Why do humans believe in things that they can't prove?
I don't know. It's strange, isn't it, that we've got that kind of built into us.
Just
that need
faith.
to not. We don't just accept.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is in our brains that gives us that.
Because you believe, you've got like a feeling that there's more to just this like base reality that we live in.
I mean, for me, I believe. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe that we could ever know any of that stuff. I don't believe that we've got the. My thing is always, you know, maybe we don't have the senses needed to perceive those things that are also around us. Like perhaps aliens are in our sky at all times, but we've got our 5 senses. Maybe we don't have the sense requisite to.
It's possible
to know they're there.
Yeah, it's possible that there is technology that where things move so quickly you can't notice.
Yeah,
that's another thing that Elon Musk talks about. He says that it is possible that you could create something now where it could move so quickly you wouldn't even notice that it was moving about.
Yeah. And like, you know, there are creatures in the world that don't have sight or don't have hearing, or they operate on their thing, and you know, there are lots of things in the world that they can't perceive because they don't have that sense. So I just think there must be stuff out there that.
It's interesting that a lot of people, they would say they don't believe in God, but they are like me and you, but are probably open to like some sort of spiritual feeling or like belief, like you with your dad and the spider thing, which I do think is probably true. I always think like it's like if you believe that you're going to do something in your life, like you're gonna be a writer, like you believed that was going to be the case, so then it became that. So I just think that you can't actually believe something. I don't think that you can actually believe something and it turned out to not be true. I can't not with everything, but with like spiritual thought or like productivity and like creativity. If you're going to believe you're going to be a footballer, then if you actually believe it, then you're going to be a footballer. If you don't, there's a bit of you that doesn't quite believe it, it's not going to happen.
So people that have faith and then lose their faith, do you believe that they didn't really have a?
No, I think no, definitely. I think that would probably be like a rejection of like some sort of like not chip on the shoulder, but like maybe it didn't give them what they wanted from it. So it's like you sort of reject it because you only saw it that time. Like, that's not true. That was just a coincidence. But I don't know that, obviously. That's just what I think.
Yeah.
I think it's why is that because what you did, or what is that your personal experience, or that?
No, I was just wondering what you meant by believing, and then if it doesn't happen.
I just mean anything. Like if you, of course, you can be unlucky in life, definitely. But I think if you believed 100% that you were gonna be a photographer and you were gonna take a picture of this specific thing and it was gonna change your life and everybody in the world's gonna see it, then you'll probably do that. But if there's like a bit of you that doesn't believe that, like self-doubt's not the same. It's like, because that's like one thing I notice about people that create stuff. We've all got self-doubt. But if you like have a complete belief that something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Just need to get better at thinking it's going to happen.
That's true.
Maybe we need to ask more of ourselves.
Maybe, or find the right thing. Yeah. Has anything ever happened? You could totally discredit everything I just said by answering the question. But like, have you ever done something that happened that you didn't actually think it would happen? Not self-doubt, not being like, oh, that's not quite good enough. Because if you do something and you think, oh, it's not quite good enough, but you still put it out, that means you believe that it's going to be something.
No, I think...
Pram kicker as an example. Did you think that would have like any success that it's had? Did you believe that it would have that?
No, I didn't even think that far ahead with it, really. It was just a play I wrote for me and my mate.
But
And,
but right, okay, yeah, that's amazing then. So you just wrote that. Did any part of you think God, that could be something?
No.
Not even a bit.
No.
That's crazy though.
No.
Imagine if you did.
And I still, when I go back and read it, I feel like it's not... not that it's not good, because it's...
Not as good as it could be.
Yeah, I'd change loads of it. And in fact, I don't like looking at the script because it annoys me.
Right. But if it makes it, surely it's good enough.
I think I trivialise what I've done. I think I look back at it and just think, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, no.
I don't feel ever truly satisfied by something.
No.
I always feel like I've not found my thing yet.
Right. Have you ever worked as hard as you can at something?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
Because not because I haven't wanted to work hard at it, but because I feel like I've
always could have added more, or like tried a bit harder.
Yeah, like I definitely think I could redraft more. I think I definitely am guilty of writing something, and normally it's because I'm writing for a date. You know, we've got dates in the diary. You know, like Latitude. I think I've premiered both Pram Kicker and Fran and Lenny at Latitude. So the date's in the fucking diary, and you've got to do it.
But that's also a good thing, because otherwise you would just end up not doing anything.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's a good kick up the bum. But then going back to that script, yeah, I mean, I see all the flaws, all the things I would change, and I do feel proud of it, because I feel massively proud that the plays are being performed across the world, and you know, that's amazing. God, I never would have thought that. But I look at it and think, oh, what do they see in it? It's like...
Is that because you spent so much time with it? That's what I've always find. Like if I write a song, record it, like I can't handle it, because you listen or read over and over, and you can't even hear what it was meant to be, or read what it was meant to be originally, because it's like this monotonous thing, because you've been at it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of...
You can't even see the emotion.
Drown yourself out to an extent, don't you? I think because I never set out for it to be anything anyway. Like, I never plot my plays. I kind of have bits that I know that I'm going to hit at some point, but then the rest is kind of... It's almost like dusting off bones and seeing what's kind of there already.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So I don't really have anything to compare it to expectation-wise. But
does it make you think, God, I could churn this out over and over? Do you think that, or do you sort of concentrate on, God, if I really did the best I could, it could be something ridiculously big?
I like to think that, because it's a nice thing to keep you going.
Do you have a desire to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't found the thing that's, you know, I haven't found my Moby Dick, as it were.
Yeah. So when you do, I assume when people get that, they just know that that's it. So you'll be like, all right, this is the one.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll know, or do you think it will just be could be the next thing?
I don't know. I mean, I worked on a book. I've written a book, and I spent years writing it, and it's about my dad and grief and all sorts, and I got a book agent for it, and I'm supposed to be editing it now, and blah blah blah. So that's the biggest thing I've ever worked at. Wow. But I also feel like there's loads of bits I've cut out of it that I would prefer to keep in.
Why is that?
So it's already not the thing that I would like it to be.
Is that pressure from the agent, or what?
I think... I mean, it. Obviously, an agent has the concern of, you know, what the publishers would be looking at, and what for them feels like a satisfying narrative, and how they would handle that story, but because it's true, how on earth can I write the experience of losing my dad to suicide and write his life and honour his life and his personality and everything I've been through every second of every day since I lost him? How can that ever be boiled down into a definitive thing?
If all the truth, and especially if not all the truth's in it.
Yeah.
Like all the, but again.
So it's never going to be the thing I would like it to be.
Okay.
Because.
Yeah. No, that's
grief
that's
change. Well, it's still changing. Grief is still changing every day. So you have like a worry that you, but then it can't. I guess if it's not exactly what you wanted it to be, it would just be like a segment of what you wanted it to be, and that's still alright because it's like a representation of what you eventually want to do, I suppose. Yeah, and I guess there's that. It's getting the balance right as a writer between what you want it to be and striving with that, and also knowing when to just put a lid on it, because otherwise it'll be the thing you keep fucking writing for your whole life.
In the mental home.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it'd be like that's a thing, like where you just can't put something down, or like open-ended projects or whatever, you just will never finish it, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'm desperate just to put it down because I want to write another book. Yeah, I just want to. Yeah.
Is it nearly done then?
It needs another edit, and then my agent wants to send it out.
Great. Yeah, but are you still excited or about it? Or can you not judge it?
It's been such a long time since I've worked on it. It will be interesting going back to it.
All right, that's really cool. Yeah. It's just anything that eventually makes it to the final cut, whether it gets put out or if it just goes to people, surely it's finished. Otherwise, you wouldn't let it.
Yeah.
But things aren't always finished either.
No.
Even if they are, does that sound like bullshit? Like it's finished. But nothing ever is. It could be everything could be added to it. Of course.
Yeah, like the plays, I could keep changing them.
Yeah, like the fucking Bible, like whatever. Like that cookbook I've got downstairs. Like that's probably not finished.
Yeah.
And that's is that the beauty of the art, that it's not done?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's any definitive thing. I don't know. Certainly not that I've come across, but. But then things that you love, you wouldn't touch a word of. Like, I wouldn't suggest going in to fucking edit, I don't know, a Donna Tartt book or, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but the author probably would.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can't imagine a writer
going, oh, that's fucking great. 100%, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever done
Unless
that.
they're mediocre, maybe.
Yeah, if they're shit.
If they're shit, they probably read it and think,
oh, yeah, I think...
That's it. Keep every single word. That's perfect.
God, I wish I could do that. I wish I was shit.
Must be lovely, mustn't it?
Yeah, it must be. I don't think you're doing the right thing if you think that's done. God.
Be nice for a day, though, wouldn't it?
It would.
Just to not beat yourself up.
That was interesting. I like that. That's good. I'll think about that more. I'm going to underline it so I remember.
Adding more notes to your little...
Yeah. Where am I? Here we go.
That is insane. Those 2 pages of notes are just... You should take a picture of them and
that's got to
post it.
Probably make it into a little book of some sort of them all eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hand soap.
Yeah.
We've got the same hand soap.
I have just availed myself of your amenities.
Yeah.
And noticed that we've got the same hand soap.
What is it? Fig and...
It's... Oh, I've forgotten. Fig and sandalwood, maybe?
Yeah. Sandalwood. What is that, really? It's like a...
I don't know. What does sandalwood look like?
What's a sandalwood?
What's a sandalwood? We should know this.
We should.
As lovers of incense.
Yeah, because that's a big name in the...
It's a big name.
in the flavour. Do you know what annoys me when people say flavour about things that smell? Like I remember at school with gel pens, they used to be like a smelly gel pen, and people would say, "What flavour is it?" And no, it's a scent.
Yeah.
Now grow up. They can't help it. They're a kid at the time, so they didn't know. But yeah, so fig. So I think there is one where they're like chocolate and orange. That's too much for my hands. Really.
I don't like anything that tastes. There we go. You've done it now. The simpleton you've invited onto your show. I don't like anything that smells like I should eat it.
No, because I have made the mistake of, you might at Christmas. Well, what I do and what my mum and dad do, they have a Christmas soap.
Fancy.
From Lush, or could be anywhere.
What's it smell like? Is it all
There's
like
many.
mulled wine type?
It could be
ingredients.
It could be, but you can choose. It doesn't have to be Christmassy. You just have a certain soap for the festive period, which is nice.
That's really nice.
But once it was like lemon meringue pie, and I was like, all right, well, let me sit, because it smells like it's going to taste good.
Yeah.
Didn't.
No.
It didn't, because I took a bite.
You took a bite.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. What? Solid soap or liquid
solid
soap?
Solid.
Okay.
I don't think I'd fall into the trap of tasting a liquid soap, because I think I'd be like, no, that's a soap.
Definitely a
but
soap.
Lemon meringue pie, solid soap.
And they look so good, don't they?
Yeah, they look like a lemon meringue pie. Do you know what I mean? I think you're an idiot if you don't take a chomp out of it.
Mm. Yeah, there's grey areas for me, because I wouldn't get a lemon meringue soap.
No.
But I might get a coconut soap.
Do you think that you wouldn't get a lemon meringue one because you'd be worried you might eat it?
No, I just don't put it together with my ideas of cleanliness.
All right, yeah, you don't want to wash your hands. Yes, okay,
So
but coconut.
Yeah, I don't know why coconut is that weird grey area.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But it wouldn't stop you though.
No.
It's a grey area, but cool.
But just so people know this top tip, this soap we have just been talking about, if you are a lover of the 90s and proper retro body shop, this fig and sandalwood soap from Waitrose smells like dewberry.
It does.
So
it'd be nice if it could be sponsored by that soap, I suppose. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Be lovely.
Would it though?
I was talking to my sister the other day about all the old... were you a body shop boy? Was that on your radar?
Do you know what?
It's not really a boysy thing
let's break down the gender barriers. But my mum was.
Yeah.
So trust me, I know things about Body Shop. Hemp cream.
Yeah. But apparently they're thinking about bringing back all the original stuff.
Are they?
All the stuff that everyone misses.
Yeah, there'll be a market for that. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah,
so,
hemp cream.
Good things to come.
Well, exciting, I'd say.
Seriously, if they do that, I will be in there the day they bring it out, and I will be buying it all up. Like all of it? Complete nutter.
All of it?
Oh, stockpile.
Yeah, well, Brexit's coming, so you don't know when you're going to get Body Shop soaps ever again.
Oh, my God.
Is it British? Probably not.
It was Anita Roddick. God knows what it is now. Who bought her out?
I don't know.
I mean, who bought it out when she died?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Oh, he's a character.
See, the first time we've mentioned him on the podcast.
Normally I go for the old politics. Well, we sort of did, but not like current affairs.
Yeah.
Stacey Dooley. She's been slagged off.
Yeah.
I won't say why, because it's boring. Sounds like because she's a woman. There we go. I said it. But yeah, Body Shop. Holland and Barrett. I feel like they're brothers and sister.
Yeah.
And I get that about lots of things in life. Like the custard cream and the bourbon biscuit.
Yeah.
Related. Distant cousins.
Is that because it's a sandwich?
Maybe. And also, I just feel like they're together a lot.
They are. They're kind of classic.
Yes.
English biscuits, aren't they?
Yeah. Take back control.
Tea time biscuits.
Custard cream.
But also got that naughty little treat vibe going on.
Yeah. The Oreo is the slutty brother.
Do you know what? I've come to like Oreos, but I could never get it for a long time.
No?
No.
Why?
subpar chocolate flavour.
Yeah, because it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a fake chocolate.
But not dissimilar to the bourbon, actually, because the bourbon, really, if you're going for a chocolate biscuit, it wouldn't be the one I chose.
That ain't chocolate.
Yeah.
Digestive.
Just a bit dirty.
It is. Custard.
And not in a good dirty,
No.
sort of not like a chocolate hobnob dirty.
Exactly. Or like a caramel chocolate digestive. Krispy Kreme donuts. They're nice.
Do you know what? I don't know if I've ever had a Krispy Kreme donut.
You've got to.
Maybe I need to.
But,
and I love donuts, but I don't know if I have.
Give it a go. You can go to any good supermarket. You can get boxes of 6.
Oh, those big trays.
I know that Tesco do them. The big Tesco, go tonight. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just think like I might, the next time I see a Krispy Kreme, I might fall into the trap of washing my hands with it. Because I'll get confused about it being a soap.
Yeah.
It's not funny when you have to explain a joke, is it? Anyway, thanks for doing this. It's been really good.
Thank you. It's been delightful.
But there will be an introduction that I do separately to this, so make sure you listen to that.
I will.
Body Shop are bringing soaps back. And if that ain't something to get excited about, don't know what is. Anything to add?
I think I've said absolutely everything that's in my head for tonight.
And now home to the baby.
Now home to the bub, although she's asleep. So I'll probably just look at her for a bit.
Wake her up. Tell her what you've been up to.
Oh, sometimes I wish I could.
Well,
I
you
miss
can.
her when she goes to bed.
Well, you can, but it might piss her off.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it.
No.
She'd make me suffer for it.
You deserve it as well. Right, cheers for that.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks for listening. If you haven't listened, you won't hear this.
Fuck you.
Yeah, cheers.